Morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of this amazing conference. My name is Buta Pizzo. I will be your host for the session. I am from Coca-Cola. My role there is head of ARTD, so I manage the alcohol portfolio for Coca-Cola through a recent brand that we've just launched, which is Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. So I'll be your host for today. I've got 3 amazing guests. I've got Wayne, I've got Apiwe, and I've got Happy. I'll introduce them just shortly. And I think our topic for today, if I must summarize it, is beverage as a growth engine, right? So in the on-premise restaurant space for operators, how do we use beverages as a growth engine, right? I think traditionally we look at the restaurant space and we're focused on food, what type of food is going through the restaurant space, but what is the role of the beverage industry? What is the role of big players, even such as Coca-Cola, within the menu space? Yesterday, I was a panelist here, and we were really just speaking about the role of beverages within that space. So the topic for today, and let's keep it flowing. We're going to have questions across the panelists that are here. When we have time at the end, we'll also encourage you to ask questions, so keep them until the end. And I have no doubt that we are going to have a very good session. I think let me just start by introducing my panel first. So ladies first. So I've got Happy Ngiti there from Proudly South Africa, 2025 IMM Marketer of the Year. And really somebody that I've grown up within the sales and marketing space looking up to. So it's good to see you happy. I've got Apiwe Mawela, founder of Tolagazi Beer and Brewmasters. So if you want to make beer, right? This one, she doesn't make them combo, she makes a beer, and she's competing in the market and doing quite well. And then we've got Wayne from Quinrock. They've got an outlet also in Rosebank called Q Lounge, lovely venue. And he's here to also just give us some insight, especially as a customer, as an operator, on how to drive experiential, how to drive experiences within the beverage industry. Yeah, so please, ladies and gentlemen, just give a round of applause for our panelists. Right, so I'm gonna start with you, Happy. I hope you don't mind. Look, you've led national marketing campaigns. You've driven brand turnarounds. I also expressed that for some of us who've grown up within the space, we've always looked up to you. And my first question would be, and for the crowd that is here, from a marketing entrepreneurial perspective, how does beverage shape perception and commercial performance? So effectively, I'm asking, how does the drink assist the restaurateur?
Thank you so much, Buta. I must say that as you keep making reference to the fact that we followed my work for a couple of times, that makes me feel very old. But very much appreciated, because it means that the touch points I've gone through have made a difference. Yeah. And people are watching, which is great stuff. And it's great to be sitting next to a member of mine at Proudly South African, Tologazi Beer. She knows that we all need to drink something. And so, if you typically walk into a restaurant or a bar or for lunch or breakfast, automatically it's an unspoken word. The first thing we all think of is, what drink am I going to drink? That's what the waiter asks, but before you even, it doesn't matter how hungry you may be, the first thing that comes to mind is, what am I going to drink? Now that's a drinking, let me rephrase that, ordering a drink, a beverage or a coffee or a wine or is a phenomenon that cannot be underplayed. I come from a space where I promote locally manufactured products at Proudly South African, from a job creation perspective. So it's not just a drink. It is a drink that has kept somebody in their job. Tolokazi has a beer making business. In that beer making business, she may be the founder, but she's got people that she works with behind the scenes that source the crop, that does any part of the business at Tolokazi Beer. Those are jobs and those are households. It doesn't matter how insignificant their role may be, but those people working with her and many others that may be sitting in the room today are households, meaning the business of making beer or a drink or a soft drink manages to put a loaf of bread on a family's table. That's how I look at it. It's more than quenching a thirst. It is about when somebody brings you a drink, it's a job. They are able to get paid by serving you. They're able to go home later on that day and be able to feed their family. So it's a critical addition to the value chain and the ecosystem of drink manufacturing in South Africa.
Wow. I was getting goosebumps just listening to your sentiment. I spent about 10 years of my career within the beer space, having worked for the likes of Brandhouse, Heineken, SAB, and I can only imagine from being in that space what you've had to do up here to get to where you are, right? I would say that when I started within that industry, you were my competitor, so I probably sat down in some meeting rooms and thought to myself, how do we win against a local beer? But I think what's great about what Happy is saying, guys, is it's actually just not about the drink, right? Let's say support local. Let's support our own, right? Competition is healthy, and I think it's what also keeps you up at night up here, right? And thank you for that. Thank you for that, Happy. Up here, then maybe let's get to you, right? Because I'm sure everybody wants to know what is it like not just making komboti. Now you are competing with some of the big beverage brands, but in relation to the topic, what is it like having developed your beer within this space, and what would you encourage our customers and operators who are here on how to drive growth within the beverage industry?
Okay. Thanks so much, Buta, for that question. So having, I think, firstly, we are a member of Proudly SA, just to make sure my marketing manager here knows that. Proudly South African brand. So Tolokazi, we are about celebrating who we are as Africans through beverage. And I think part of the topic today to say how do we drive growth within the beverage space is how we can own our space as Africans. So Tolokazi, we actually advocate for that. We are proudly a female-led brewing company. As you can see, I'm very much proudly African. Wherever I go, I want people to know that I'm African through and through. The product itself uses African ingredients. So we use locally sourced rooibos. Our ciders use Marula, which is coming from Limpopo. So for me, it's how do we collectively actually driving the beverage growth is as you serving the product, because obviously from a restaurant perspective, you guys are in close contact with the consumer, is how do we tell the story? Because beer is just beer. It's a beverage. Drink is a drink. But to it, there's more to it. So what story are we telling? And how do we entice people to actually enjoy the product beyond just the alcoholic product itself? So that's what we are about at Tolo, guys. And I think to encourage everyone who is here today and who's listening is to say for me, like, you have to own your space. So whatever product you make, understand that there's other bigger products that are out there. I am not in competition with my former employer. I'm an ex-SAP because they've been here 100+ years. I've just been 5 years old. So I'm on my own race. 100 years from now, look me up and we can talk. But I think just own your space. Do what you can with what you have. We have a good ecosystem. And I think in South Africa and Africa as a continent, we're in a beautiful space where the world is looking on us. They're looking at what we're doing. They're looking for our innovation. So we need to use what is God-given, what our grandparents used to do with Yuzumkomboti, and seeing how do we move that forward? How do we innovate with what we have? So, yeah.
No, thank you. Apio, what a great answer. I think one of the things about the on-premise space, and I'll tell you our perception and how we view on-premise and restaurants at Coca-Cola, right? That's where you drive equity, right? So if I've got a great experience at Buta's restaurant and I've got a great experience with the brands that I've interacted with within that space, it translates into sales within what we call the off-premise. So I've had a great experience with Schweppes at Buta's restaurant. For my braai at home, I walk into a retail outlet and I go and buy that brand, right? And I think that's what I want to just bring Wayne in on here from Q Lounge. What is the beverage experience really within the on-premise space, and how should operators work with manufacturers? How do you guys do it well? And what would be your advice on how to grow and help them in their businesses within the beverage space?
Right. Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I think the clue right there in that question is the word experience. And that's where we need to start looking at more diligently when it comes to what we're presenting in terms of our offering. What has changed very dramatically in the last, I would say, 2 years is how the consumer consumes beverage. They're consuming differently. A lot of people are blaming, and we need to stop doing this, blaming the Gen Zs that they've stopped drinking. It's not actually true at all. If you look at the statistics, it's across the board. People are drinking less, but they're drinking upwards. So you need to be able to actually sit there, understand how your menu looks, and then look at your beverage offering that you've got, and then link the two together, that you can create a really, really tailor-made experience between beverage and food for whoever's serving to that client, to be able to purvey that over to them, to create that whole experience. I think one of the sort of big things that happened over the last few years is you had a lot of big conglomerates coming in, buying wine lists, and necessarily when you walk in, great food offering, but then at the same time you look at the wine list and you go, but I'm really not intrigued by this wine. There's no massive story behind this wine. There's nothing that really captivates me. I'm going to have my meal, but I'm not having the full experience. By taking something where you've got a producer that comes up to you and sells the whole concept, their passion, the drama that goes into making that product, that you understand it from your perspective as a restaurateur or operator or server, then you actually get to be able to sell that over to the clients, and at the same time integrate that into the food offering that you are giving backwards. So the whole thing is about experience at the end of the day, and we need to create an experience for people. And by having lackluster sort of products that are not thought through in terms of wine lists, it's going to affect the food and vice versa. So for me, it's about cohesiveness and actually putting a lot of thought these days into what you're going to put onto your menus, and have the link with that.
Thanks, Wayne. Great answer. Happy, I'm going to come back to you, right? So, operators that are sitting here, where are we missing the opportunity on the buy local conversation? And what would you encourage us to do more to support proudly SA products and businesses?
And I'm so pleased that one of our member companies or product founder is here. That just shows you that, oh, by the way, we are a member-based campaign. So products and services pay us a fee to be affiliated with Proudly South African. So as a small business, you pay us 500 Rand a year for multiple access to market opportunities, including having carte blanche to use our logo on your product, on your marketing collateral, for you to showcase that your product is authentic, it is locally made, and no one is going to drink your beer and die. Okay, because we vet you. We go through 4 criteria. The first is local content. In the context of making your product, 50% thereof has got to be incurred in South Africa. We understand that there's raw material that you may have to bring in from Brazil, from wherever else in the world, because as a country, we don't have enough components. That's fine. The second criteria is quality. It's one thing for us to say local is lekker, support local, buy local, but it can't be Hong Kong. It's got to be great quality product. The third and fourth issues are softer issues, but they're just as important. Environmental standards. In the course of doing your business, do you take care of the environment? And do you conform to the labor laws of the country? Now, Apiwe rather, is paying herself in the sense that she is actively looking for opportunities for her business and for her product. And this is why she's affiliated with Proudly South African, because she understands that it's going to take help from stakeholders, such as Proudly South African, such as Hostex, such as many others, financial and non-financial, to help her push the needle a little bit, to give her access to market opportunity. We've done it, I don't want to sound like I've paid her to say what she's going to say later. We've done incredible work with her. We've taken her to many platforms. We've opened many doors for her. But she shows up. She shows up. She participates. She responds to emails. She grabs the opportunities with both hands. With that said, my brother, I also just want to touch on the importance of this industry. And from a personal perspective, and I always like to share my experience wherever I go without imposing anything on anybody. This industry is absolutely critical. I am an entrepreneur myself, and I'm in the beverage business. I have a wine brand as well, and I take it from my grandmother. My grandmother is who we typically know in the townships anyway in the country as the Shebeen Queen. She was. With that business, she took 5 children to varsity, including my mother. It's a business that matters. She was just not selling brandy and beer and to make people happy. Okay, that also happened, but fundamentally she was able to support her family with the business. We're selling beverages. This is why when we were hit by COVID as the globally, and the president said, stay home, don't do this, don't move, our movements were restricted. All of us thought the first 2 weeks was cute, but a month later we all pulled our hair because we were frustrated. But when they said the bottle stores are closed, the lady says, Aish. Yeah. When they said the bottle stores are closed, for me it was, okay, two good things happened out of that. I made my own wine when the president said the bottle stores are closed. I have a wine brand called Bella Wine, named after my daughter. I was like, Mr. President, me, I'm going to drink one way or another. Most of you did. We all went to Pick and Pay, to Checkers, to Spar, to buy pineapple and yeast, until they cordoned off that area and said, South Africans, you're going to kill yourselves. Pineapple is finished, so is yeast. But the point I'm trying to make is that when the bottle stores were closed, for me, it was about many, many businesses in our townships around the country that couldn't sell their beverages to their consumers because of COVID. Can you imagine the poverty and the frustration that those businesses, those families had to endure, where parents couldn't support their children, couldn't cook for their children, couldn't send their, the schools were closed, but the shebeen business or the bars or the restaurants took a big knock. And that just shows you that over and above just it being a drink, it's a life. It's a life that the economy, a part of the ecosystem in the economy, desperately needs. And so, as Proudly South African, we have a responsibility to support our POS business, many other producers that may be sitting in this space today, because it's one thing for her to have a great beverage product, but if she doesn't have a market to sell her product to, it defeats the purpose. Two things are going to happen. She will lay off staff. She will shut down. She will not generate revenue. It then contributes to the persistent unemployment problem in South Africa that we face as an economy.
Thank you, Happy. I remember those dark days, and I was one of those who. And my beverage was top tier. I really think that if I could bottle it, I could compete with the likes of Apiwe here on it. I developed it over a consistent amount of months. So thank you for that. When I'm gonna come back to you just a little bit, right? So there's in my boardrooms, in suppliers boardrooms, is about premiumization. So everyone is talking about let's drive premium, let's upsell, etc. What would you advise in terms of the upsell strategy within an outlet and getting it right with your waiters, with your suppliers, with your product range? Quickly, please.
Yeah. I think it's very important that you understand the products that you're serving to your clients. If you don't understand the product and you're not able to sell it properly, speak to that supplier that's supplying you that product. Tell them that you want training for your staff or for yourself. And if they're not willing to come to the party, to come to you, to actually bother to do that, get them off your list. Work with partners that are willing to work with you. That way you're going to be able to build relationships and at the same time be able to wholeheartedly sell a premium product to a client, because you know the back end of the story of the person that produced it. You know their children's names, this, that, 3 weeks before the other. And that all sells it really, really well, because when you could tell a great story while you're busy selling a bottle of wine or spirits or whatever else, about how the producer made it, and how it works really well with this food because you've heard it straight from this person's mouth, that makes all the difference. That changes the experience. I know we're short on time, but a quick sort of one thing that I was in the Vaal of all places. I was busy. I was tired. I had a really sort of long day. And I sat down in a restaurant, a very unassuming restaurant, and the waiter came up to me and he said to me, I want to, he said, what can I get you to eat? I said, well, I haven't ordered any food yet, anything to drink yet. And he looked at me, he goes, exactly. He goes, I want you to first tell me what you are going to eat. And from there onwards, we are going to decide together, based on what I know about the products we stock, as to what your experience is going to be like today. That stuck with me, and that happened about 10 years ago. And I think it's even more pertinent these days to be able to sell everything that you know about the products to your clients. And that's how you premiumize and be able to sell premium products.
Yeah. Thanks, Wayne. My last one, I'm going to end up with you, Piwe, right? I am doing Buta's pineapple beer, and I really want to scale up because I know that a lot of you may be sitting here would be saying, how do I get into it? How do I get in touch? What has been my experience with Proudly SA? Could you maybe wrap it up for us quickly as to your experience with Proudly SA, what it's done for you, and how people can get involved? Because I'm pretty sure everyone is like, oh, where do I sign up? 500 Rand. It's like almost less than 50 Rand a month. Honestly, right? It's less than possibly one beer. So could you just share that with us, if that's okay with you, Mengiti, and advise on what we could do? And that will be my last question, as we've just run out of time.
Okay. So advice on making sure that you brew the right beer. So I own 2 companies. So my core passion is around skills development, actually for developing South Africa. So one thing I forgot to mention, I'm actually the first black person in South Africa, female, to have founded a brewery. And for me, I always told myself that I can't be the first in the 20,000s and be the last. So I think everybody that's my team over there. So
Hello,
I'm very
team.
for female transformation in the industry, black participation, and not just as consumers, because South African, we all know that, I mean, we drink. We are one of the top in the continent. Actually, globally, we are in the top there. But for me, I've always said, how do I, within my space, make sure I bring about the transformation throughout the value chain of the beer industry, beverages as a whole. So we do offer learnerships. We do trainings where my focus is obviously female and black female. And Brewsters is also a member of Proudly SA. And I think what Sis Happy said earlier, I'm the one person that every Proudly SA event, I am there. To some point, some people thought I'm it's special favors, but not just Proudly SA. I mean, when I was called for this speaking sports, I didn't even ask. I didn't even know what the topic was or what was going on. I was like, yes, I'm coming. Just sign me up, and then I'll hear later what it's about. Because you have to drive your own vision, your own dream. No one is going to drive it for you. And in South Africa, obviously, we at times feel that government owes us this and that. I can't start because there's no funding. The business for the past 5 years has been self-funded. I've sacrificed a lot to be able to be where I am today. And that is something that I think everyone in this room, if you want to start something, whatever it is, you have to start where you are. Make sure that you're going to put in the time and the work and the sacrifice and use the people around you. There's so many people that are willing to, I mean, with Wayne earlier, when we were doing intros, I'm already like, Wayne, can I bring my product to your restaurant?
Yeah.
Can I please bring your product so that you can taste it? Because it's networking like this where you never know who you're going to come across, whoever's going to open that small window. They might not open the whole door, but they might just open that small window. So I think I'll end there. Thank you.
Thank you, panel. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours. I actually have got so much more questions, etc. But we've run out of time, and I want to thank the team that's on the panel. I'm pretty sure that as you meet them through the center and throughout the day, they'll be able to answer questions. I've unfortunately run out of time in terms of asking questions, but I'm pretty sure that my panelists, including myself, are able to take some questions as you meet us in and around. And yes, thank you so much for the participation. And I think I am going to close it right now. I'm seeing everybody at the back is looking at me with nerves, but that's it from today. And thank you so much for your participation, team. Thank you so much.